While some citizenship and golden visa programs are going away, there's a little known citizenship by investment program that just decreased its prices. You probably haven't heard about this country's citizenship by investment because not many people watching would think that they want this passport. And many people who think that are probably right. But Egypt has just reduced the investment requirements to get its citizenship. It was always a little bit overpriced for what you got. And yet I want to talk to you about this off-the-wall citizenship idea for a couple of reasons. One is for someone building an extreme passport portfolio. There could be some interesting implications in this. Certainly, there may be some places where you go where people would look askance at you. On the other hand, the African Union is trying to integrate more things. And if you're looking to do business in Africa, if you want opportunities to be there, if you think that Egypt has some promise as a country with a huge population of relatively educated people, that there's going to be only one way to go being up, it might not be a bad idea to be on the inside and have a citizenship. That obviously doesn't apply to many people. And yet I also think that telling you where prices are being lowered at the time when Portugal and Ireland are canceling their golden visa, Spain is threatening to make their golden visa much less attractive, citizenship by investment programs are ending or are becoming more rigorous. This is the door that's opening when the other doors are closing. And so if this door opening isn't the one that you want, it's a good idea to secure the ones that are available that you might want before they close. But here's what's happening. Egypt has a number of different ways that you can get citizenship by investment. The passport itself is not very powerful. You can go practically nowhere. You do have the option to live in Egypt, and then again, that may open up some investment opportunities. And again, as Africa unfolds, there may be some continent-wide benefits there. The first option is the donation option, which is overpriced. However, we do see countries like Cambodia, where there's a fast-track naturalization program, making a donation and getting citizenship from the king. Costs $250,000, give or take, in Cambodia. That program left and now it came back. Same price in Egypt, $250,000 in donations. However, now you can pay it in installments over 1 year, get a tourist residence permit during that time, and then get the citizenship once you pay it in full. If you have the money, not really a big savings and not really a great deal when you can go to the Caribbean and get citizenship for $100,000 with a much better passport. Real estate, from $500,000 in government-owned properties down to $300,000, and you can buy the property from any Egyptian country. This could be interesting. If you're looking to buy a property in up-and-coming markets, if you're looking to have a bit of a gamble, if you want to be very diversified, again, Egypt, large population, the nexus of a complicated but I think emerging region in Middle East, North Africa. $300,000 in real estate, you will get a lot of bang for your buck. Now maybe you want to make the real estate investment and not get the passport, but $300,000, which you can invest over the course of 1 year, and you get a passport. So again, whether you want the passport or not, I think that quite frankly, there are probably some $300,000 real estate investments you could make in Cairo or elsewhere that wouldn't be that bad. You've got one of the lowest prices per square meter. And again, it does not have some of the issues that other African countries have. Also, bank deposit. The government will reduce the non-interest bank deposit option to $500,000 with a holding period of 3 years. So basically, you're putting your money in Egyptian pounds. We saw when I was in Egypt in early 2017, the pound had just gotten crushed and everything was extraordinarily cheap. And then the pound got crushed again more recently. So it's a bit of a gamble to take tying things to the pound. But no longer $1 million, now $500,000. You can recoup your principal after that 3 years with no accrued interest. You can also make a capital investment into a business. They're reducing that from $400,000 down to $350,000. But they're adding a $100,000 donation, kind of what Montenegro did, buy some real estate that's rather pricey and then make a donation on top of that. Their citizenship program closed a few months ago. The business investment option, I think that there perhaps are, for certain industries, outsourcing options. Met a lot of really smart Egyptians in the tech sector, but with a $100,000 donation, again, you can make the $100,000 donation without the business investment and get a superior passport in the Caribbean. Also, what they've done is they've made it easier to get your funds into the country, and they're just kind of simplifying the overall process. So again, this is not a program that the average person is going to get. If I'm looking at citizenship, and I've said citizenship is a permanent way to secure your access to a country. right? So a residence permit or a permanent residence may not be a bad thing, but citizenship is essentially forever. You have the most rights, you have the most flexibility, you have the most options. If I'm going to get citizenship above all else, if that's all I can get, Egypt is not going to be my first choice unless I have a very specific reason for wanting to be there. But again, we talk about passport portfolio. So maybe Egypt isn't the latest passport to put in your portfolio, but it gives you food for thought. That you do see countries that are emerging, that may have potential in the long run, opening up and offering this. We saw in Asia, Laos has a very uncompetitive offering, but very interesting, totally untapped market that does favor its own citizens. Cambodia favors its own citizens for owning real estate. I think the real estate isn't really the kind of real estate you can own, like land, for example, raw land, isn't that cheap compared to like places in Europe where you can buy it that may have more potential. But if you want to buy, apartment buildings, Cambodia, it's interesting. So the average person is not looking to buy apartment buildings in Cambodia, but if you are, as Jim Rogers would call himself, the adventure capitalist, and you're looking for an adventurous place to park your money, a friend of ours who said he got citizenship in a rather obscure country, had to give up his U.S. citizenship because he felt, I'm living here, I'm doing business here, I'd like to be on par with the locals. Probably is always a good idea to be on par with the locals. I believe that if, the way the world is going, you don't want to have all your money in Western stock markets, Western businesses. At the very least, you want to diversify your business to being in other places. And if I had to make a list of half a dozen cities where I wanted to have someone analyzing business opportunities, I think Cairo might be on that, looking at opportunities all around the region. The point is, this is a citizenship that's getting easier. It may not be for you, but if it's not for you, understand that a lot of others are getting harder. Egypt overshot its value, the same thing Turkey did before they lowered the price. Turkey eventually saw tens of thousands of people go on to get its citizenship by simply buying real estate. Turkey has a much better passport than Egypt for travel. The bigger question is, what all do I want to make sure that no matter what happens in the world, I'm protected? What do I want to ensure that I'm free during the next Black Swan event? What do I want to do to make sure I protect my wealth? And I would say, germane to this topic, what passports or residences would help me grow my wealth in places that most people aren't thinking about and that perhaps are undervalued, possibly due to geopolitical reasons, possibly because people have a weird feeling about it? That's more what I would think about, rather than getting Egyptian citizenship. Again, somebody watching might say, okay, that's the one for me. Most people should say, how do I take this idea and apply that to where else I can get residence and citizenship and diversify my money?